In this demo, we're going to look at how you can implement a human-in-the-loop pattern when using the Microsoft Agent Framework. This is the accompanying blog for this demo. In this blog, I detail why human-in-the-loop matters, how you can use it to implement guardrails for organizations that are more security conscious, how to implement it, and detail the example that accompanies this video. For the purposes of this demo, we are going to be extending our IronMind AI personal trainer agent. And in particular, we're going to see how you can enforce a human-in-the-loop pattern when processing payment details. So let's jump out of the blog and dive into Visual Studio. So we are in Visual Studio, and if we open up our payments agent class, we have an agent that has two function tools, one to collect payment details and another one to process payment details. If we look at line 31 here, we can see we have a mock class that simulates a payment processing activity, and that's what we can see here. We can open up this payment service class and we can see it expects several parameters and returns a fictitious transaction ID. So the idea being that if the function to process payment is invoked by our agent, the service class gets used and returns a transaction ID. Similarly, like some of the earlier examples, we can see in lines 16 and 28, we decorate the function tools with the respective natural language descriptions, and we do the same for the parameter, which is the credit card number. We can open up the program.cs file and we'll close the Solution Explorer so we've got more real estate to play with. And the important parts to see here are between lines 25 and 26, okay? So when we are adding the collection payment details function tool to our agent, we do not care if that prompt should invoke a human-in-the-loop response by the agent. We're quite happy for our agent to just invoke that function tool without any human approval. However, when it comes to submitting the payment, we want our agent to confirm with our user that this function tool should be invoked. And that's what line 26 does. Specifically, the method approval require AI function. Like our earlier example, we make these function tools available to our payment agent and we pass that into our chat loop. Some important things to call out here within our chat loop are we implement a nested loop pattern. So our while loop controls our basic conversational loop and accepts human inputs. However, to handle our human in the loop requests, we have to create a nested loop, and that's what we have here. Within the context of this loop, some important parts to call out here are when the function approval request object is surfaced, we want to interrogate that and extract out any arguments as well as the approval, okay? And that's what we can see down here between lines 95 and 99. If the human approves the request, we update the console just to signal that the approval has been successful, and at line 114, we return that response contained within the function approval request back to the outer loop, okay? And down at lines 118, we pass that approval request response back to the outer loop and the agent. Finally, we check for any more approval requests that may be invoked as part of that loop. And then we reset the console back to green and display the final response. So let's run this agent and it will ask us what we want to do. So under the hood, our agent is going to ask us for our credit card number. Our personal trainer agent advised it now has our payment details. We can say, and this is our human-in-the-loop pattern just being called here. So we can see here the function tool has been invoked to submit the payment, but our code has signaled that this particular function tool requires human-in-the-loop approval. So we can say yes, and we can step through this code and we can see approval was good, and we'll just, and payment has been successful. And our service class has been called and it's returned a transaction ID. So in the real world, this may be a Stripe integration or Paddle. Another cool thing to point out is that it doesn't always have to be a human interacting with the agent. There could be agent-to-agent communication. So there's different ways that this functionality can be invoked. So if you want to dive deeper into this code, you can check out the accompanying blog for this video by visiting jamiemaguire.net.